The University of Maine has announced its involvement in the National Science Foundation Seafood Engine as part of a $15 million grant to accelerate the development of critical technologies and grow regional economies. Researchers at UMaine are working to develop and deploy more than a dozen low-cost and highly durable water quality sensors to help support natural farms across Maine's coast. Fishery biologists with the Penobscot Nation are researching fish contaminant consumption habits and fish movement patterns, which allow the tribe to make decisions in real time regarding their waters. Projects like these are designed to innovate one of Maine's oldest industries while also benefiting farmers and protecting our coastlines.
Last year, we harvested about $619 million worth of seafood in the state of Maine alone. I think that's the 13th or 14th year of over $500 million, right? So I think success looks like, first of all, maintaining it. It's such a bedrock of our economy over time, and there's a lot of environmental change that can disrupt that. And then seeing if we can expand production and potentially, even more importantly, expand value.
They're not as targeted to the areas where the tribe has the ability to make decisions for themselves on our trust land. If we have our own equipment, we can ask that question for ourselves. And so that sort of gets a much finer resolution set of data for the pointed questions that the tribe can have.
As research expands, the NSF Seafood Engine hopes to reduce the nation's $20 billion seafood trade deficit. The group will initially receive $15 million over 2 years, with the potential for a total of $160 million in federal funding over 10 years.